Hello, my delicious co-creators. Lilou here on the beautiful island of Koh Phangan. We're actually on the west side, aren't we?
Yeah.
Beautiful, delicious people here and goddesses. You're creating this reunion of women getting together, embracing their sacred feminine, rejoicing and getting together, because this is time to do that.
It is. Shakti is rising, definitely. We've got such big waiting lists and we're putting on more and more trainings. And there's also something of the old coming through when we gather together as women, that we feel like we've done it for lifetimes. Yeah. It's a real sense of coming home.
There's this conversation I want to have with you because you've been training in so many different modalities and the Tao tantric way and all that, and I want to know, because we speak a lot about penetration, and we speak about it. This is sexual, practices like penetrating, and then we mix our energy. And then tell us, what's your view on that? How do you see it from your own background and what you've learned?
Well, one of the amazing gifts of Tao and Tantra is awakening the energy body. So normally people have a longing for connection, and when the energy body's not awakened, they have to kind of get it through the physical. And then there's penetration. They're trying to get close to each other and never quite make it. Like you can try and try, but there's still something missing, some deeper connection. And many people don't know quite what it is. But when you start to awaken your energy body, well, energies can merge fully. Where the physical body will always come up against another body, energy bodies can really merge in a magical way. So the sense of connection you can have from having a conscious awakened energy body is so much more blissful. It brings a sense of connection and merging, and it's that merging that takes us back to the remembrance of our true nature, of feeling connected with all that is. So physical penetration is coming from this desire for this connection. And often it doesn't really fulfill it. People can be even left feeling a little empty afterwards and getting addicted to sex, looking for something. But when the energy body's awakened, you can feel so fulfilled, even with your clothes on, just meeting someone and your energies dance together and merge, and your energy bodies are penetrating or connecting. Yeah. So it's a new way of meeting, or an old way of meeting, but it's another way that many people haven't yet experienced. Yeah. And this desire for union can be really, really deeply met.
Because in this intercourse, or when there is penetration, we not inherit of the other person's karma, but there is something that is the energies are mixing, and then you're carrying that with you. So it's actually very, very precious.
Exactly. So we want to say that sex is sacred. So what do you do with a sacred thing? If you have the most beautiful sacred temple and it's totally ornamental, you don't want everybody just charging in there off the streets and like dirty, muddy boots. You treat the temple in a really beautiful way. You wait for people who come, you wash before you go to the temple, you bring flowers, you bow down, you wait for the temple doors to open. And so if you bring this attitude to sexuality of, I want it to be sacred, and my body is a temple, and I really want to use my sexuality to have sacred experiences, then penetration is a big part of that, because that is a threshold, a very important threshold. It can be the most divine, incredible meeting, but if you let the wrong people in or the wrong time, you actually start armoring up. You actually start, a woman's yoni is so sensitive to energies, and it'll start going, getting all armored if it's penetrated too soon or by the wrong person. And then it becomes desensitized, and then people kind of feel like they need a lot of really strong penetration to feel anything at all, or a strong vibration. But actually, when the yoni is totally awakened, she knows exactly who she wants in there and when. And penetration itself becomes something very, very sacred. So when you ask about the karma, so in the Tao Tantric wisdom, they say that as soon as you're having penetrative lovemaking without any protection, like really body to body, then you really start to enter on a very deep karmic level. Because the jingqi, the heavier sexual energy stored down in the sexual organs, it carries ancestral qi, or like all the ancestral karma, should we say, which means all the patterns, all that needs to be healed, that gets passed down your family line. It's carried in this energetically in your sexual energy. And so when you go into full penetration, you have the opportunity to do really deep healing. But if you start opening that door with people who you don't feel a lot of love and connection with, then all the shit comes up, all the crap, all that stuff that wants to be healed, and you don't have the right space for it. So it can get really messy. People start having messy relationships, or emotions come up and they shut away the person they just made love with. Like they wake up in the morning and they're like, oh, I can't face this person. And all of that's coming because they can't hold space for what's coming up for healing. So based on this, you want to really wait. You really want to connect to someone on many levels. You want to experience your personalities together, your energy together, dance together, play together, breathe together, and also spending time in non-sexual intimacy, kissing, touching, caressing, and wait for the body to say, yes, let's go there, and really choose it consciously.
And that can take time.
And exactly, it can really take time. It can really take time.
Is there some regular daily practice that you recommend for single women or even women in couples, so that to welcome that, or to still nurture ourselves and to still please ourselves too, right?
Yeah, it's what I love about these practices is the Taoist lineage was very much men would go and do theirs, women would go and do theirs. Before going looking for a partner, you would spend ages massaging your breasts and doing your jade egg practices and doing a lot to open up your own energy body so that it's activated before you go looking for a partner. We don't do that. We're teenagers and we're rushing out looking for someone to give us something, and we meet another teenager who has no clue what they're doing. Everyone's fumbling around and there's usually not much energy activation going on. And so the whole thing is kind of a mess in intimacy. And it's a shame that we've lost the schools, the places, the temples where people would go as teenagers to learn how to work with their energy, because there's so much energy activated at this time, but nobody really knows how to channel it. So yeah, there's a heap of practices, and we're doing a month here and we're doing 9-10 hours a day, and we fill the whole...
Still more to cover.
There's still more, exactly. So certainly if someone's been sexually active and they want to sort of start again and have new experiences, then cleansing is really important. So we do energetic clearing processes. You can also use the jade egg to clear out old patterns. And like I said about the yoni, the vagina, when it gets kind of contracted like this, then it needs to be treated very, very gently. So we do, I love to lead practices with the jade egg where we press the egg into a different part of the opening and just hold it for a long time. And this pressure, wherever it's been contracted, it starts to vibrate, and then suddenly it releases. And often there's a huge emotional release. A lot of tears come flowing. And this opens up all the tight places in the yoni. You can also do it through massage. But
sounds like a bit like a karsai that just came back from the Tao garden, and you put pressure on different points. So this is like you do that, but with a jade egg.
Exactly. So you take your egg, and hang on, I've got mine down here. So you take an egg, and if this is the opening of the yoni, we spend ages massaging and doing breast massage first, and then you hold it just in the opening, and you press it like a clock face in different directions, and hold it and breathe. And we do this together here in the class as a kind of ritual, and it's a very deep space. I mean, half the class are usually crying because the yoni's holding all this memory of, I'm not quite ready yet, but I should, because I should please him, and so I'll let him in, and then all of those memories are stored there, and there's such a sense of relief when that tension can finally be let go, and the yoni comes alive again in the most magnificent way after this kind of healing. So yeah, it's similar to what you would have from a massage, but you can do it yourself. It's like a self-given process, and we do that before we even put the egg in for the first time, so that the yoni is really, really prepared and ready to receive. It's a great gift to give to the yoni. Yeah.
Is it mainly the jade egg, the self maintenance practices, or is there other things?
No, it's just, that's a really good one. We do a lot of sexual vitality, qigong as the main practice. I'm also training classical tantra, which uses tantric yoga, and both are great. What I love about qigong is that you're letting energy flow through you. So there's this practice called the wave, where you're just kind of like undulating the spine with your breath. And this helps to get energy flowing up through your whole body in this wave-like motion. rather than we're all stiff on our computers all day, and squeezing the yoni at the same time and pulling up your energy. This starts to reprogram the whole body very quickly. We do this every day here. Very quickly, your energy hears the invitation to rise instead of getting all contracted and stuck in the sexual center. So your body can go into a sort of orgasmic, blissful state. And it's when you can bring sexual energy all the way up to the crown. It's only then that you realize the spiritual secrets of sexuality. If you're still keeping your sexual energy only down below, you never really feel how it is to have that spiritual experience. And many people contract around the sexual energy as they're getting turned on. They kind of go like a sneeze. They just let go of that energy into the earth. That's how climax orgasm. But when you start to wave it up through the body, you feel the energy, and instead of contracting, you go relax to it and relax to it and relax, and it comes like a fountain up through the body.
Literally, too.
It can come like a fountain all over the place. And that energy, when it rises up, it can crack open the heart, it opens the mind, and if it rises all the way to the crown, it's those orgasmic experiences of dissolving into everything as is. You become part of the universe, or remember that you always were part of the universe. And that's really the big spiritual mystery of sacred sexuality.
How do you bring it up? Is there something to do every day? Is it in the breathing? Is it in the voicing? Is it in the...
Yeah, all of it.
It's a lot of training.
Again, it is a lot of training, and like everyone always wants to get there quickly. But you know what? These practices are taught generally very slowly, because it's like if you put a lot of electricity voltage through a small cable, it's going to burn out and fuse. It's just so you need to build up the cables so that you can put a big voltage through them. So actually, it's wise to not try too quickly to get to this full body tantric orgasm, but instead to start with cleansing and purifying, begin to open the channels. In the Taoist practice, we move unaroused sexual energy for quite a while. We have 2 weeks here before we start to build up the energy. So one of the ways is with breath. So breath work is very powerful. Sounding and moving, those are absolute keys. We do a lot of energy activations in this lineage. And those are through...
What kind of lineage? How would you name it?
Well, we call it Tao Tantric Arts. And the reason we've picked both of those names is because we're very much weaving them together. So the practices we're doing are coming from Taoism with the Jade egg and the breast massage, but we're working with the fusion of looking at Tantra principles, so looking at classical Tantra, and actually there's so much similarity, and China and India, of course, are very close. So we're following a lineage that combines both.
Can you learn from a man? Is there a lot of tantra man teacher that teach to women, or is it something more woman to woman to do?
There's a lot of men who like to offer to teach women, for sure. That's a very good question. For sure, when you fall in love, you attract the right partners to learn. There's a different type of learning. If you follow your heart, then you'll probably draw in a partner. I was 9 years with a man who I met when I was just calling it in, and we had 9 years together. And he taught me a lot. We learned a lot together. So there is always having a partner. But I think really as a woman, to learn about women's sexuality, you're going to learn a lot from a woman. Yeah. Someone who has breasts and has a yoni is going to be able to teach you. But, I've been with male teachers as well. I think you always attract the right teacher as well.
Do you think every person is bisexual? Or do you think there's something to that nature? Do you think women can be attracted to other women and have intercourse? Because we're speaking about energy flowing here, so... Yeah,
for sure. Well, we talk a lot about this principle. Here we are, 26 women swimming naked in the water and massaging breasts with oil. It looks like...
Guys are having vision here on the other side.
It looks like that. It's totally beautiful. And we talk about this thing called Sapphism. Sapphism and lesbian, the words come from two Greek goddesses. And Sappho was a goddess And the lineage that she was bringing through was women being sensual with one another. It's different from being a lesbian, where one woman will tend to hold the masculine energy and one woman the feminine, so they can be polarized. But women can all be in their feminine together and stay in the feminine, because in Taoism they say the masculine's like a rock and the feminine's like the water. So you can have two waters together and they will dance and swirl and rub oil in their breasts, and they'll be beautiful together. You can have a man and a woman, or a masculine feminine energy, and the water caresses the rock, but two rocks don't go well together. So there's very little evidence anywhere in the history of Tantra or Taoism where men are sharing energy unless they polarize. So the principle of polarity is really crucial when it comes to sexual energy. It's one thing to be sensual together as women, and in that kind of sapphic sense, and bring out more femininity together. And it's another thing to be polarized, in which case you need the masculine and the feminine energy. Now, this can be through any two bodies. It doesn't have to be a man and a woman, but it does have to be there in order to generate the polarity of energies. It's like a nuclear fusion, that the stronger the polarity pull, the more powerfully they come together, and then those energies can transcend. It's like an alchemical blend for transcendental lovemaking. So it's a different thing that's going on when women are sensual together from when two polarities come together to make love.
Last question on polyamour. Polyamour, I don't know how you say this in English. What is that? What is your view on it?
Polyamory. Polyamory is quite big in this field. A lot of people think that, to be in Tantra, I have to be polyamorous and have sex with lots of people. And what I've found, certainly there are different times in one's life, times when you get more from being in a committed relationship, and other times when you want to experiment. I've kind of settled in a middle way where I found that there are so many ways to share energy and intimacy and massages and caresses and kisses and holding, so many glorious ways, but that as soon as penetration happens, it does turn a relationship into a different realm, into a different connection. And like I said earlier, it brings up the stuff that wants to be healed and processed. So it can get a bit messy if people are having a lot of penetrative lovers and opening up a lot of doors like that, because there's a lot coming up to be healed, and people can go into lots of processing and emotional storms and drama. Ultimately, we want to live in peace and joy. So if someone's in polyamory and they're in constant drama, rather than continue, it's worth sort of sitting back and maybe trying to interact with people without the penetrative part. So just innocent intimacy, I call it, Spend a whole night with someone, caressing and moving energy and breathing and feeding each other chocolates. So many lovely ways to connect. And see how it is to have your connections without actually having penetration, until you meet the person that you really can really meet you and really hold to you and you really want to open up that door with. And that tends to be a lot easier. And you still you're not suppressing any energy. You feel energy with someone. You can say, hey, let's go feed each other chocolate. Let's go, cuddle. Let's go swim in the ocean.
More than chocolate. Come on.
Well, it all begins with chocolate.
You got that, guys? Are you looking for your beloved?
He's on his way. I'm with a very beautiful man right now. Yes. He's coming in a week. So
beautiful. And you're from London?
No, I've been on this island for 15 years. So,
but I hear a little bit of a British accent.
Yeah, I'm from England. I was born there. I don't consider myself very English, but. Yeah.
Wonderful. Last little thing to say to all the delicious co-creators out there that we haven't said, talking about this penetration. There's a lot of conversations to have, but this is a first, probably of many.
Well, I guess I just want to say, be creative and go and explore. Really creative. Like you can bring in so much creativity to the ways you interact and meet people, and find a new way of meeting everybody that you're drawn to, and be a little risky. Invite someone to do something that maybe you've never done before, and have fun with it.
Delicious. Okay, my juicy, delicious co-creators. This conversation are getting juicier by the minute. We're sending you so much love from beautiful Koh Phangan in Thailand. Thank you.
Thank you.